personally, it was incredibly difficult to make this film. I think the most difficult part of making it is that once this friend, Kelly became our friends. We were very good friends. She shared everything with us. She would call us first when she had a question or when she had a problem. And we spent so much time together. We became really good friends. Once that friend is gone, we're left with the pieces, right? And we're left with the pieces of her story, and then we have to put that together to honor her and do right by her story. And that's incredibly difficult. That's a lot of pressure. That's huge pressure, because she's not there to give her feedback. She's not there to say yay or nay, and you have a certain expectation for it. No, this is about life and death. This is not a comedy. And so if you're not careful as an artist, you can have too high of expectations and you'll never be satisfied. And I don't know how many cuts we've been through, but we went through so many cuts in the edit that we weren't satisfied with. And at some point we had to realize, okay, we got to make decisions, because we're not helping anybody by keeping the film in the edit suite. It needs to be out there. So the answer, yeah, it's incredibly difficult because you miss your friend and you set a certain expectation for the film that might be unrealistic as a result of the emotion attached to the subject matter.
And one of the other things is that you, in particular, as an editor, too, you have to deal with it over and over again. You're watching it. You go through it live as we're interviewing Kelly, and you're watching her deteriorate, and you see that, and it's bad enough watching it in person. It's horrible. And then you have to go back, and first I started with it on paper, and I'm going through all of her interviews and reliving all of it again, over and over again, and then you're cutting it down and trying to figure out what to use. And like Frederic said, it's a lot of pressure knowing that this is going to be this person's legacy and their last word that is there forever for people to see. And then it goes to Frederic, who's editing seeing all the footage and seeing seeing it right there, and seeing Kelly all day long for months as you're editing it, going through it over and over again. I think that does create a little emotional turmoil in a sense, and you have to. Luckily, Frederic and I are also best friends, so we could call each other and sort of talk about it, and since we both experienced it together, and which definitely helped. But the film, for me, also, and I think for both of us, really, aside from that side of it, the emotional side, it also kind of has changed the trajectories of our career a little bit as well. We knew nothing about HPV and cervical cancer and the other cancers HPV causes going into this. And it was very sort of random how it happened. And now we've spent 3+ years of our lives talking about it and learning about it. And suddenly, through osmosis, you kind of become a subject matter expert in the field, and that we never planned on. If you would have told us 4 years ago that we would be here talking about HPV, we would have said you were crazy. But now when we see it, it becomes something powerful in your life then, and it becomes something that you see that there's an opportunity here to have a big effect on the world, and that's what we've always been looking for. We've always, in our careers, we've wanted to do things that make people think, make people feel something, somehow make a little bit of change, social change, personal change, whatever that means. And I think this has given us a bit of a focus where we can see, we have 6 cancers there that don't have to exist, and we can maybe be a small part in trying to eliminate those. And that's what it's done for us. It's given us sort of a platform to make a difference, and we hope that we can succeed in that.
Yeah, one more thing on that. Most films before this, we would finish it, we would distribute it and launch it. This film is like our baby. I mean, we put a whole program around it where people can screen the film in communities, People can buy bulk versions of the film for $1 and then donate those versions. So we're coming up with all these creative ways where the film can be seen by as many people as possible. And we didn't just deliver it to a TV network where they could have this film as one of thousands. We are holding on to it because we want to make sure that the promise we made to Kelly, which is we're going to do everything we can for as many people as possible to see this film, is something we deliver on.